Rabbit warrens formed part of the life of rural Lincolnshire 300 years ago, when huge numbers of rabbits were bred for their meat and fur. Today, Atkinson's warren near Scunthorpe still has large areas covered in short grass, cropped close over the years by occasional grazing animals such as sheep, but more commonly by the rabbits which now run wild over the site. This landscape is called acid grassland because of the acidic nature of the underlying soil, and originally would have been covered in short scrub, but grazing by rabbits and animals over the years has helped create and then maintain this open grassy habitat. While the acid soil is generally poor, some plants such as gorse thrive in these conditions, along with a range of grasses and wild flowers. Insects are attracted to the many nectar-producing plants like common sentry and biting stonecrop, and these in turn provide food for a number of birds, including rare species like the woodlark. Woodlarks are virtually restricted to lowland heathland now, and these acid grasslands provide them with a good supply of insects and a variety of nesting sites. Normally they dig a shallow scrape in the light sandy soil in a grass tussock and build a nest. Woodlarks raise 2 and sometimes 3 broods of chicks every year and fly up to 1 kilometre from the nest site to forage for insects in the short grass. On other parts of the warren, heavy grazing by the rabbits has created bare patches of soil, and in some areas the topsoil has eroded away completely to expose large sand dunes miles from the sea. These sandy areas provide a very special habitat for some plants such as the sand sedge and haresfoot clover, and they're particularly good habitats for insects and small invertebrates.
The nice thing about areas of bare sand like this, where the wind's keeping it open and there's so little goodness in the soil that hardly anything grows, is that you end up with places that are bare all the time. And you get little cliffs like this, and where it's nice and firm, it can actually hold up the edges of a burrow. And if you actually look on here, there are burrows all over here. These burrows are made by solitary wasps and bees. They're a bit like the sort of social wasps and the honeybees, but smaller, and they don't live in big colonies together. They do it all on their own.
Acid grassland is actually an unstable habitat, and if grazing activity stops, then the dwarf shrubs and woodland very quickly take over.
Now, heathlands can be very good for butterflies, some special ones. This one's a small copper which feeds on the sheep's sorrel, a thing that's a bit related to common dock in your garden. The other one that you get on the Coversands is a thing called the grayling. A little bit earlier in the year than this, a brown one with a white spotted eye in the middle of the wing. And then of course you get the blue butterflies and some quite nice day-flying moths here. But that is beautiful. And of course it's feeding on ragwort, a plant that a lot of people love to hate, but a very, very valuable nectar plant for all sorts of insects as well as the butterflies.
Finally, there's always one animal that can be found where there are plenty of rabbits, and foxes and other predators like the stoat thrive on the plentiful supply of food.